Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany, and on this channel we talk about the false beliefs taught to women inside of the church, and we also shine a light on problematic Christian influencers. So if any of that resonates with you, go ahead and like this video, share with a friend, and always be sure to subscribe and come hang out with me over here on all the social medias, on TikTok and Instagram mostly. And if you would love to support my channel other than subscribing, I would love for you to become a patron down below. The link will be there, and the video with the Patreon incentives will be in the description box below, so you can watch that. Other than that, let's dive into another Cringy Christian Content video where we make fun of the weird that fundamentalists do. Okay, we've talked about this man a few times already. Good old Big Nik, who started on Vine back in the day and became a YouTuber, and he was in the group YouTube vlogging channel. I forgot who it was, but they always made fun of him, and he was the butt of every joke. And so he created his own YouTube channel, and then out of nowhere he became a Christian. And when I'm talking about a Christian, I'm talking about a fundamentalist. If you don't do XYZ, then you're going to hell. And here is an example.
Protect feminism or low gas prices?
Oh, I'm always about lowering the gas prices, for sure.
Why?
Absolutely. Well, I think feminism's a demonic movement created by Satan to emasculate men, to get them out of the biblical order that God created. And I don't even drive like a gas-powered car. I drive a Tesla. I just don't like feminism. So, it's cringe.
Sir, what's cringe is just you. Just you in general. So, let me read the definition of feminism, since he thinks it's an act of Satan, but that's fine. Feminism: the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. Sounds like a demonic movement to me too, Big Nik. Fuck women. Women are stupid. And here are a few other things that he's really proud of to do. He's really proud of doing. Can you believe they really told us we need to use sunscreen? That we need carcinogenic chemicals. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Carcinogenic chemicals sprayed on our skin to protect us from a natural element on our planet, aka the sun. I haven't used sunscreen in 7 years, and I've never had any issues. Don't be a wimp and go outside without worrying about the sun harming your skin. Sir, you're an idiot. God knew what he was doing when he made the sun. Like, no cap. As soon as I go outside and start tanning, I feel so happy and relaxed. Thank you, God, for giving us the sun. And the sun. S-O-N. Big Nik, listen. Do you understand that even when you're tanning, though it makes you feel good, you're bronzed, you know, especially like being a woman, a lot of ladies like to get a nice tan because it makes them feel prettier, in my opinion. However, that's still not good for your skin. It ages you significantly, and it's essentially like a big old scar on your skin. Even tanning, it's literally not great for you. That's why sunscreen is important.
Lil Nas X.
I feel like he needs Jesus.
What about Lil Uzi?
He needs Jesus too. They both definitely sold their soul.
So what do you think of the music in the entertainment industry?
Like, it's just demonic. The industry, it's like you have to do certain things to get that.
And it's not just rap music. I don't want people to, oh, it's just black art. No. There's death metal. There's death rock. There's so many artists that you need to test their spirit. So what glitters is not gold. One comment that I saw in regards to that Vicky Woe podcast was simply Shanika, who used to be in the industry. She used to be a video vixen. She commented,
My question is, when on God's earth did we begin interviewing Vicky Woe and using her as an intelligent source of knowledge. Like, that's kind of mean, but like, whatever. Like, when did we start using her as a resource? When? Absolutely never. I mean, for Christians, when she was like, I decided to become a Christian and everything else is demonic now, but Jesus saves. As soon as she said that, all the Christians were like, oh my God, yes, it's, you know, it's coming for the music industry because, you know, she decided to be a rapper or whatever. And people just flocked to her like, oh, she was in a demonic world and now she's working for Jesus or whatever the hell. But why on earth are we going to use Vicky Woe as a reliable resource? We should never.
She's telling the truth. You can't progress in the industry without compromising yourself. It's not always about the messenger. Focus on the message. This is why a lot of people are blind. Think about this. Every mega celeb has lost a child or family member. Not that this is abnormal, but pay attention to what happens to their career after said child or family member passes. You have to give up something, and when they come collect, you have to let them collect. So let me break this down to you. Kanye West has already spoken in regards to this sacrificing his mother. He literally, you know, was very vocal about it. I will post the video here in regards to
Vicky Woe and Kanye as reliable resources. The world has now been saved. I'm going to have to not play the part that he is saying because there's music behind it. But what he is saying is, my mom was sacrificed. Look at these artists, you know, when people are dying in their lives, people are being sacrificed, and then they're, like, literally what she just said, he's just saying it himself.
What I think is interesting is that, you know, people under the comments, under the shade room were like, right message, wrong messenger. Y'all have a problem with Woe Vicky saying something, but when pastors are vocal in regards to certain artists, like AKA that one pastor that spoke out in regards to Beyonce.
The only thing I can account for some of this stuff is somebody done sold their soul to the devil.
Listen, I'm over it. And her insistent smacking, it makes me want to eat glass. So here's the deal. If I was a celebrity music artist, if I was just doing the thing, and all of these evangelical Christians are saying that, like, they sold their soul to the devil, like, these lyrics are of Satan, blah, like, look at their music video, they're wearing horns or whatever the hell, dude, I'd eat that up. And I would make it to where it literally looks like I'm worshiping Satan just because they're freaking out about it. But really, it was just a troll. And it was just to do something silly. And you know what? I bet a lot of these artists, like Taylor Swift, like, you know, Beyonce, whatever, see that evangelical Christians are like, oh my God, they sold their soul, blah, blah, blah. I would say that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally sold my soul. That's how I did it. Not working hard. Not staying in the music studio for 48, 72 hours without sleep. Well, it's a long time without sleep. But without a lot of sleep. And just working my ass off to get here. Nope, sold my soul. That's it. Had nothing to do with me. It was all Satan. I would eat that up and make people really wonder. Because I'm kind of trolly. And it would be so fun. And so I think some of these artists do that just to be a troll to these evangelical Christians, and I think it's hilarious. And in saying that, the people who dissect every single lyric is dumb. Just because a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of musicians write to emotion. Duh. So a past experience, a past breakup, how it made you feel, past depression, anxiety, what it's like, what it feels like in the past, you know, what it feels like now, you know, just because you're saying something to the effect of, it feels like demons are pulling me under and the flames are getting high. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm satanic and I'm worshiping Satan. No, it means that, you know, the depression that you're in could be over-consuming, overwhelming, and it feels like it's the end. You know, they're simply expressive words. That's what good music is. So not everything they say is real, and it's so silly to me. And Billie Eilish does the same thing. Like, her lyrics are, some of her lyrics are dark, but in interview she's like, yeah, I was very depressed and going through a very hard time, and I brought it out in my music, and that's what good music is. And these people are just so silly. Okay, so this pastor is also quite silly. I found his TikTok page. He is very preacher-ish, and you'll understand when you see this first video. I have 3 videos of him, but I can't show one because it has music, and the other one we'll just talk over it because it's, oh my god, it's so silly. But you can definitely tell he's a youth pastor. He's got the, I'll just put it up here and we'll talk about it in a second. He's got the cool pants, he's got the cool jacket, and he's got the shoes, and he kind of looks like Carl from Hillsong, you know? Just the way that he presents, and it just presents himself in his fashion, and the way he talks is so silly. Because if you're familiar with any pastors, not just youth pastors, but any pastors, they'll say, well, especially when it comes to Pentecostal, non-denominational, and maybe some Baptist, whatever, they'll say something and automatically think like, oh, that was a good point, and then they'll just like go on and on, like, oh my god, I'm gonna make such a good point right now, and then it's like a mic drop, like, you know, a rap battle or something. It first comes to mind where somebody raps something and then they like bring the microphone down. They're just like, what, kind of like that. It's the same vibe, and it's like, bro, you're not saying anything that A, we haven't heard before, and B, that hasn't been said 7,200 million times 5. It's not a revelation. It's not new shit. You just are saying it in a different way to pertain to young kids, and they think it's cool. Okay, here we go. And I'll also say, before I push play, this is talking about how to stay pure as a Christian. And this sermon, my mother she would love, because she would always tell us that when you're bored, that's when bad decisions are made. So when I was growing up, I cannot remember moments where I'm like, oh my god, I'm just so bored. Because we weren't allowed to be bored. We were signed up for anything, everything, and every time the church doors were open, we were inside the church doing something with the church, and if not, we were doing something with school or performing, you know, music practice, athletics, whatever. Like, we were doing something all the time. Because my mom was so concerned with her teenagers being bored, because that's when bad things were made. So that in itself imprinted on me as a young person, and then as an adult, that being busy equals worth. Like, you have to be busy. And now I'm able to kind of crumble and deconstruct from that mentality, because your worth and being busy and the things that you're doing don't correlate, and I know that now. But when you are so, like, when that is so ingrained in your brain that you have to be busy or something bad is going to happen, you have to be busy or you're not working hard for God, you're not giving your all to God, oh my god, that's such a brain fuck, really. So when he's saying this and all the, you know, congregation, yeah, you're right, pastor, like, just because you're bored doesn't mean bad things. That doesn't mean when bad decisions are going to happen, because there are a lot of thought processes that have to happen before the choice is being made. So it's not just being bored. Sure, it might be a part of it, but at the same time, it is, I don't want to say grooming, but it's like trying to get a point across, because he'll say it, you know, why don't you come to church more? Why don't you be in church more? And it's like, this is what we're talking about. You don't have to be in the four walls of a church 24/7 to be a godly person, or to be a good person for that matter. And this is such a, in my opinion, a very culty way of saying, if you're bored, you're not doing enough, you need to do more for the church. You need to do more for the church. You need to be here more. You need to do more. You need to do more. And that's why I've seen a lot of Christian families so busy, because they don't want to miss out on serving somebody. They don't want to miss out on a blessing that they can, have for somebody, or not even receive, because a lot of Christians don't believe that they're worthy of receiving. I hear that so often. But we'll play it and y'all just let me know what you think.
Do you guys know that your biggest battles won't come when you're busy, they'll come when you're bored?
Yeah, that's right.
Amen. And if you struggle with your purity, if you struggle with boundaries in this area, do you want to hear my profound word from God for your life today?
Yes.
Start serving in church.
Yeah.
Join the dream team. Join a connect group. Start filling your time with things that reset your focus onto the things of God and His church. And I'll just say this again, and I'm sorry if this is raw, but some of y'all, you just aren't tired enough at the end of the day.
Oh.
And you have all this energy that you're just allocating towards sin.
Oh. Got him.
It's so cringy and so dumb. It's like, is that too raw for you? Oh, I'm gonna say it how it is. He reminds me of a type of person where he'll tell other people, I just tell it how it is. I just tell it how it is. And that's so incorrect, because if it's the same thing as confidence. Like, confident people don't have to say that they're confident. You can feel it and you know it. Same thing is if a person is very forthcoming with their opinion, they don't have to go around and say, I'll tell you how it is. I'll just tell you how it is. No, in my opinion, the people who say it like that is just a justification, as a cop-out for being an asshole. And like, I'll just tell it how it is. Like, no, you just want to say what's on your mind all the time. You're not forthcoming. You just feel like it's cool. Any hoodles. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. He reminds me a lot of David Koresh, who was the founder, the head guy of the Branch Davidians of that Waco cult, Mount Carmel in Waco. He reminds me a lot of that, because in some of the videos, David Koresh is also saying you need to be in church more. You need to be doing things for God more versus doing things for you. And he reminds me a lot of that. This preacher reminds me a lot of the cult leader David Koresh, because a lot of preachers, a lot of, dare I say it, in my opinion, cult leaders say, they not just say, but they want to isolate you away from the sinners, the worldly people. Be in the world, not of the world. So they really unintentionally, some people intentionally, maybe a lot unintentionally, isolate Christians away from the world, because they want to protect. They don't want them to ask questions. They don't want them to be of the world, of sin, be so close to people, because like a lot of youth pastors, they use that analogy. It's so much easier to pull somebody down than to pull somebody up. So wouldn't you want to be closer to your Christian friends than worldly friends? So a lot of pastors will say, in your downtime, be doing something for the church. In your free time, if you're not working, if you're not being with your family, then volunteer at the church. And that also sucks, because some of those things is a lot of hard work. So that's free labor that you're doing just because you feel like if you are not busy, that you're not doing enough for God, you're not worthy, and you could be doing something bad if you are bored, which is so silly. Now, this is something else that he put on his TikTok. We'll have to mute it because there's music behind it, but it says, how people think Jesus cast out demons. The way that he's using a cartoon, how he really did it. the way that he's using a cartoon to be like, yep, yeah, Jesus did that. You should be thankful Jesus did that. You know what I mean? It's like, here's a freaking cartoon of what I think Jesus did. It's very adult-like. And a lot of these, this is the third one. I said I wasn't going to play it, but I'll just play it without the music. Bad people go to heaven. And he's essentially saying that even if you're a good person, you're not going to go to heaven. You're going to go to hell. It has nothing to do with being a good person or a bad person. It's those who are saved. But it's just so strange to me because he's using, like, clip art. He's using stuff, Google cartoon hell, cartoon heaven, and at the very end, of course, follow for more good tips, like follow for more Jesus tips. And it's like, dude, these aren't good anyway. These aren't, like, I don't look at that and reevaluate anything in my life. It just makes you look silly. This is the last one. There's music behind it, so I'm just gonna read it. It says, this is why Christianity is the most hated religion in the world. It seems like there's this tolerance for different belief systems, but then when it comes to Christianity, our God is mocked, made fun of, and rejected. And then he says, the host says, I apologize, God steps in every once in a while. He's a fan, which I think is funny. Like, that's not mocking. And then he goes on to say, but the Bible actually knew that this was going to happen and said so in John 15. And I think the answer is pretty simple. Let's say the forces of good and evil in the world actually exist. What would evil fight the hardest against? The good. What would evil try to humiliate, shove down, and make a mockery of? The good. See, why would Satan be fighting hard against religions that have no power in the first place? We see hate from the world because hell is fighting so hard against the real truth. And to that I say, sir, you're actually absolutely wrong. The reason why, and I've said this about a Brittany Dawn video before, I think she talked about being mocked as a Christian as well. Listen. Extremist Christians are made fun of and are mocked because they themselves look like the idiot. Okay, let me explain. They look like the idiot and they look like not very nice people because they are calling people out for their wrongdoings, the way that they're living. They're calling it sin, and they're saying if you do not live this certain way, if you do not live by the biblical standards of the book that a bunch of old guys wrote, then you're wrong. Then you're going to hell. I have zero proof of heaven or hell, or that Jesus died on the cross, or that Jesus was the Son of God, any of that, but I'm right because of the feelings that I receive of Jesus. So you have zero proof whatsoever, but you're going to say that I'm going to go to hell because of something that I choose not to believe in because I have a lot of questions about. And even so, like, I'm deconstructing from Christianity, from evangelical Christianity, and still, like, I have a lot of questions about Christianity, about Jesus in general. So what does that say about, like, am I still saved? That's the reason why extremist, fundamentalist Christians are made fun of, are mocked, simply because they shove it down other people's throats. I have not seen one time, nor have I mocked somebody that is like, this is my religion and it is what it is. Like, you can believe whatever you want, but that's what I believe. A perfect example is B. Haney. I'll put her link to her YouTube in the description box below, but she is a Christian. But she also speaks out on problematic Christian influencers, and she also says, this is what I believe, and she even reads her Bible sometimes, listening to different videos, watching different videos, rather, reacting to different videos, and she states it from her perspective, her opinion, and she is a Christian. And she also talks about purity and why it is misconstrued in purity culture and things of that nature. But she's a Christian, a very respected Christian who doesn't shove her beliefs down anybody else's throat. And she also exposes those Christian influencers, problematic Christian influencers, for who they are. Then, on the flip side, you have extremists like Big Nik, like Brittany Dawn, Girl Define, Paul and Morgan, who are the ones saying, if you do this and this and this, those are sins, and you're gonna go to hell if you don't have your heart right with God. And that is why Christians are mocked and made fun of. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and cut the video there. Always remember that you're a fierce and powerful motherfucking person, woman, whatever. Go outside, eat your green things, go move your body, go sit in the sun, just don't stare at it, and go touch some grass. And if there is at any point in time you want to say something negative to somebody on the internet, put your phone down and move your body. Just don't do those things, because it's probably not that serious, it's not that deep, and it doesn't mean that much. Again, I appreciate you so very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.